Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk's visit to South Korea and Japan is sharpening the focus on defense cooperation, technology transfer, and opening Asian markets to Polish exports, particularly food and heavy industry. Now, at the same time, in Europe, Brussels is debating a potential overhaul of EU decision-making rules following Hungary's election outcome, which could shift the political balance in Central Europe. With us now to discuss the latest is Renata Mieńkowska-Norkiene, political scientist from the University of Warsaw. Good to have you back with us.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having invited me.
So, the Prime Minister of Poland, Donald Tusk, he's currently in Japan. And what do you make of the significance of that trip? It's South Korea as well. He was there yesterday. What does Poland gain out of all of this?
Well, I think it's a very, very important visit because first and foremost, it means that Poland is diversifying sources of cooperation, international cooperation. As we know, the United States cannot be anymore a very reliable and the main source of cooperation as regards, for example, weapons and military equipment. With Korea, we have been actually cooperating already since 2022 in this particular regard, although the strengthened, I would say, cooperation, it's been there since 2013. But what Donald Tusk has just achieved, it's upgrading, of course, this cooperation to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And he's not the single leader in Europe, of course, to do so, because Emmanuel Macron has recently been to Korea and has done basically something similar. But here we don't talk only about the question of military equipment, because this is pretty obvious and we all know about that. But Donald Tusk has taken with him also a few ministers, including Minister of Agriculture. And, in the context, broader context of EU's agreement with Mercosur and so on, Polish Minister of Agriculture tried, and it seems that he has achieved a certain success, to speed up the process of also opening Korean market in particular, but also Japanese market. They are both very demanding markets, by the way, as regards farming, to the Polish beef and other products, agricultural products, because our balance now, so we've got a deficit of export-import balance to Korea and to Japan. And therefore, I think this is a huge, huge step towards strengthening cooperation with Asia and diversifying our international relations and international trade cooperation with those countries. So I would say it's a huge step forward.
All right, so lots on the agenda there. And as you said, it's something significant. Poland and Asia, Poland as a stronger economic force. Now, that rings bells for me as well. G20, I mean, South Korea will be the host in 2 years' time. I want to get that in your perspective a little bit right now. One of the first meetings, the central bank governors and also finance ministers of G20 are meeting in the United States in Washington this week. Give us your sense. I mean, Poland is an invitee this year at the summit. What are the, let's say, main focus areas? What's your first impression of Poland being present there and what the G20 will discuss?
I mean, Poland, of course, will not be that significant at the first, of course, because we are only entering the group if it will happen. But I suppose it will, because everything leads there, and including South Korean lobbying for the Polish G20 participation. But I would say that this particular meeting should be observed and should be really taken seriously because of, first and foremost, of course, the war in the Middle East and what has been recently going on worldwide. We have been facing really skyrocketing of oil prices and, of course, a huge destabilization of international economy. And therefore, I would say, and this obviously is also related to the Polish situation and the European situation, because Poland, of course, cooperating with Asia and European countries cooperating cooperating with Asia, also including those countries which are in G20 as well, and which will meet. This all is a part, let's say, of this huge effort of stabilizing somehow and mildering vulnerabilities, which we have been facing. Of course, we have been facing them since Russia invaded Ukraine, but actually since the first economic crisis. But now the peak, I would say, is what has been going on in the Middle East. And the United States will probably also try to talk with other countries, and we will try to, the G20 countries will try to discuss what can be done in this regard. I mean, Financial Stability Board's chair has already issued a letter to G20 finance ministers pointing out those most important problems. And honestly, it's a kind of alarming. Therefore, I think that these talks will be very serious and there will be efforts. But let's not forget that at the end of the day, it's political decisions that have to be made. So I think that there might be certain pressures made of, first and foremost, the United States, to sort of make those decisions and try to bear responsibilities also for what has been going on and for how this impacts all the countries in the world, what has been going on in Hormuz and so on. So I think that this will be the main topic. But yes, Poland present at the table is a fantastic thing. And I'm not afraid to say that we have also something to give here, because this sense of Central and Eastern Europe is very important there, because it's also a bit of fresh air from this part of the world. And we had lots of insights which were right, even if the others were wrong, like, for example, the Russian threat and so on and so forth. So I would say that this would be a serious thing. But now, currently, the most important topic is most probably the Middle East, and here is the main focus.
Okay. Renata, you mentioned decision-making. Let's talk about that as well. Let's talk about European Union decision-making, and this has also come up once again. I know that Ursula von der Leyen meeting in a special European College of Commissioners on Tuesday. Give us your sense. The idea has always been making decisions has to be about unanimity in many certain areas, specifically foreign policy. Yeah. There's been a call to change that. First of all, quickly, your reaction to it, and can it be changed without treaty change?
Yeah, it's a very tricky topic, because any discussion about changing of treaties is absolutely crucial from my perspective, because I'm a political scientist and Europeanist, and I would love to have these talks on the table because they are absolutely necessary. And I'm absolutely for qualified majority voting instead of unanimity. And by the way, I have analyzed it just recently, and it backs so much the Polish interest. The Polish interest should be to strengthen qualified majority voting and not unanimity. But I would say that elections in Hungary, of course, speeded up the whole process, because we know that Viktor Orban blocked many decisions. Moreover, this very paradoxically, the result of elections in Hungary now will take away potential excuses for many countries that simply waited for Hungary to block decisions because of unanimity, and then, just saying, okay, it's Hungary, and put the blame on the Hungary. While now it will be way more difficult to put the blame on Hungary, because Hungary will not veto as many decisions as before. And I would say that now these talks are very timely, because they really lead us closer to this ambitious and brave decision about the European Union becoming really a power, also taking into consideration defense policy, security, and of course foreign policy, which is also significant, because now look, even Donald Tusk being now in Korea, previously it was Macron, but many countries, they try now to go to China, to different countries, to diversify those trade relations and so on. But never never one country will be more, will be stronger and will have more leverage, let's say, in discussions with whatever international foreign partner than the European Union as such. And we have to take care for us as the European Union having this power, and we have that power only when we act together with loyal and sincere cooperation included. Therefore, I think that this should be the topic, in particular since Hungarians, they want to enter the Eurozone, and of course with Péter Magyar, even despite the fact that he will most probably still stick to Russian oil and gas because he has not too many other options, by the way, on the table, although I think that he will still try to diversify those sources of energy. But still, it will take time.
Right. So on timing, unfortunately, sorry to interrupt, but we'll have to leave it there. Much more to discuss. But look, we covered a lot in this one. Always appreciate you having with us. Renata Mieńkowska-Norkiene, thank you so much.
Thank you so much once again for the invitation.
And thank you for watching World Talks. We'll see you right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.